Hi, this is Jared Polak, founder of Entre Results, author of Entre Balance, and recently released Entre Business. Again, been a lot of great feedback on Entre Business, and so what I want to do is go a little bit deeper with one of the concepts in Entre Business today, and this is just going to give people that have read the book a chance to go a little bit thicker with one of the ideas. One of the ideas is to identify and overcome your blind spots. This is tremendously crucial for gaining traction in both business and life. And what we're going to look at is a couple things to self-assess or self-analyze to see if this is an area that you need to focus on. And then I'm going to give you some action items to take specific action to improve or get better in this area. Now, this is a really tricky area because it's called a blind spot. So how do you even know if this is an issue? Because literally you're blind to that area or blind to that spot. Well, here's a couple things to think about. It's self-analysis. Number one, just a couple questions. Do you, as a business leader or a business owner, have a hard time keeping talented people or employees in your company? I mean, do people leave your company, only stay there for a short amount of time? Or if you're a leader in division, is there a constantly flow through your organization and people just leave and you're not sure why they leave? This could potentially be because you have a blind spot that's affecting this. Have you ever done like a 360 review or asked your peers for specific and direct feedback? If you've never done that, you may have some blind spots that you're unaware of. Do you feel stuck? That might be a good word. Have you ever just felt stuck in business, or there's a particular area of business where you just feel stuck and you can't get past it and you don't know why? Maybe, for example, you just can't quite gain that big deal or that large client. There's no really reason why you can't get it. It's not like there's a bad, there's nothing economically or there's nothing wrong with your system or with your product or service, but you just can't land that big deal. Maybe you have a blind spot there, or maybe you should be expanding quicker or growing quicker in business, and you don't know why you're not doing that. It's perhaps you need to identify and overcome your blind spots. Now, personally, and a lot of these personal things can ebb into business challenges as well, and so this can be something to really think about. Do you have basically issues with relationships with other people? Maybe you don't know why maybe you've gone through a divorce multiple times, or have had multiple failed relationships. Perhaps you're dealing with a blind spot that you just can't see. Maybe it's really difficult for you to maintain friendships or have deep relationships with friends. Perhaps you have a blind spot. These are just things that personally that you can identify that can help you relate to maybe some issues that you're having in business as well. Here's a totally separate thing. Perhaps you are extremely goal-oriented. Maybe you are very driven, very successful with your goals. You drive your goals into completion. I know this sounds crazy, but if you're that type of person, it actually increases, in my experience, your probability of having blind spots. And so maybe you need to identify and overcome these blind spots. Another thing for self-analysis is, and this will be the final thing before we come into action items, do you ever make people cry around you? I mean, is there ever, do you have a lot of experience with people around you, just their feelings being hurt for whatever reason? You could have a problem with identifying and overcoming your blind spots. So here's some action to take. And I know I identified maybe some of these in the book, but really just want to encourage that. One, Take the DISC assessment. If you've not taken an assessment like DISC, go ahead and take it, because what it is it's an assessment that will allow you to see these blind spots without. It's really one of the only ways you can identify that is having an assessment or getting feedback from other people. So take the DISC assessment. Go to our website at entreresults.com. If you don't know where to access the DISC, that'll be a great tool for you on our assessment. Another thing you can do as an action item is have people that you know or trust, ask them to give you specific feedback on how they identify your personality. Ask them to share with you what they perceive your weaknesses to be. And sometimes when you ask someone to share that and you give them, you have to allow them a comfortable space to give you feedback. Listen, sometimes they'll tell you a weakness that you had no idea that was even there, and that's one of your blind spots. Another action item you can do is spend time thinking about who raised you. I know this gets into a little bit more in terms of psychology and it kind of goes deeper, but who raised you? Was it your parents, a single family home, a grandparent, adoptive, foster home? Like, who raised you? And were there any negative characteristics that you can identify in those people that raised you? Then what needs to happen is ask yourself, is it possible that I also have those negative characteristics? That's a tough question to ask yourself. Last and certainly not least, and I know this sounds like a plug, and it is, but it's true, you need to go through some type of coaching, a business coach, life coaching, or perhaps seeking a counselor, someone that can give you feedback and can see things in a different light. So anyway, those are some ideas on action items. Go out and take action on identifying and overcoming your blind spots.